Hey, how you guys doing today? So today I'd like to talk to you guys about what I saw on the news, and a friend of mine brought this up to me. It really caught my attention because it really has a lot to do with the situation that we're facing right now down here in Texas, as far as like the power outages, people without heat, people without shelter. It's a really sad sight to see that our supposed elected officials, the people in charge of, writing laws and telling us what to do, are completely taking advantage of this bad situation that we're in. Some of you guys might be wondering, well, what do you mean, Matt? I guess what I want to tell you guys, and this might be upsetting to the people watching this, but especially to the people down here in Texas, Ted Cruz, the Republican lawmaker, I don't think I should really even point out that he's Republican or Democrat at this point, because it really doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on, because both sides are equally corrupt, and it's starting to show, more so now than ever before. Get this, Ted Cruz went on a vacation to Cancun, Mexico, to spend time with his family. He said in a press release that he wanted to be a quote-unquote good dad by going down there with his family. Isn't that sweet that he wants to be a good dad? He's going to Cancun. That's so great. More power to him, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys feel that way too. All of you guys without power, without water, you guys are probably like, yeah, go for it. Take your time. No rush. If we can, we'll pay you more in taxes, so that way you can stay there even longer with your family. While we're all here in the freezing cold, you just go ahead and stay on your little vacation down in Mexico. This is unbelievable. This guy was put into a position of power in order to serve the people, not serve himself. And that's exactly what all these people are doing. All these people in charge of writing laws and coming up with rules and regulations are taking more from us and giving more to themselves. And I think that's kind of apparent to anybody out there that's tuning into this channel at this point, because you see the food prices are going up. Well, that may not be a direct result of what these politicians are doing themselves. Over time, that's exactly what's happened. The people in charge do not care about us. They care about themselves, okay? I think the quicker that people start snapping out of this matrix that they've been put in by these elected officials, these politicians, these lawmakers, the quicker we can get back to some type of normalcy, as far as life goes. If we keep on obeying these people's rules, it's not going to turn out well for any of us. Isn't it amazing that during a time of crisis, these people are really showing their true colors by going on vacation? Millions of people down here are freezing. No power, no water, roofs caving in, people sleeping on the side of the highway because guess what? These same lawmakers have pushed people out of their jobs in order to combat something. Okay, I'm not going to go into details about that, but we all know what I'm talking about here. They pushed us into a crisis. They manufactured a crisis. They are taking advantage of us. If this is the way that they're going to play it, I think that we should all just stop using the system that they use. We should stop paying taxes, because as it seems to me, and it might be apparent to you at this point, it seems like we're all paying for our own enslavement to some degree by giving money to these people. The money that we work for, our time, our freedom, has been given to them. And that's exactly what we're seeing happen. It's really no secret at this point, and anybody with half a brainstem can see it for what it is. I think the true test of a leader really shows in times of crisis, and that's not what you've seen from the people in charge. You haven't seen that from Trump, you haven't seen that from Biden, you haven't seen that from any Republican or Democrat. I don't think any side of the aisle that you look at is going to be on your side. If you are a libertarian at heart, then I think you're on the right side of everything. You're for the Constitution, you're for freedom, you're for having personal responsibility, having rights, having self-reliance. I think that's the best way for a society to operate. Instead of having people that are looked to as in charge or set the stage for us, I think we would be a lot better off if we do that as a collective, as opposed to letting a small group of people decide for us, because look at how well that's turned out for us so far. I mean, let's face it, this system isn't working. And more to the point that I would like to talk about today is that in my previous video yesterday, millions of people are without power. Millions of people are freezing. These are people that have probably lost a job, probably don't have a crutch to stand on at this point. I think it's for everybody's best interest, as as opposed to what the mainstream media and the government likes to promote, division, confusion at any turn and any stop that they possibly can. I think we should all just break out of this. Enough is enough. We're going to start doing things the people's way, our way, a common sense approach to this whole situation. Instead of allowing people to have some sort of power structure that continues to grow out of control, we need to put a cap on this. We need to put a limit on what these people are able to do to us. As time has shown us, since I've been a kid at least, I mean, they've done nothing but take advantage of us, and I think it's starting to get really out of control. Governor Greg Abbott, another real piece of work, he said that with the growing number of Texans without electricity and water, we have a real crisis on our hands. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing here. You know, the first thing that comes to mind when I read this, welcome to the State the Obvious Awards, because you won first place, Governor Abbott. You really did. Thank you for stating the obvious, because we haven't realized that. Well, you're up in wherever you are, in your castle or mansion, with your private security, your generator, your solar panels, everything that you need to survive. Everybody else out here is freezing in the real world. You're acting like you're in the real world with us when you're really not. You don't understand what it's like being everybody else in this state, or the rest of the country for that matter, going through this crisis, this economic collapse that they've put us in. All these elected officials, all these state representatives, these presidents that we've had in the past and currently, they've done nothing but make the problem worse. Enough is enough. I think the straw that breaks the camel's back in this situation is going to be some sort of revolution when people can't afford to buy food. That's just my take on this. Or when the grocery stores are out of food and have no food left. That's when you really start to see people overthrow their governments, demand some type of reform, because this is getting out of control. I want to just say something to all the people out there that are part of the United States military or have served in the past. You took an oath to uphold the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's not what I've seen happening. I haven't seen any of these people that are breaking the laws and making the laws go to prison. I see fines, but what good is a fine when the bank controls the printing of money? So that's why I think the Founding Fathers were onto something when they said that only gold and silver are to be used as money. I think that really makes a lot of sense, because especially at a time like this, what better time to put that into practice than right now? I think that, and this is just my own opinion here, I think that we've had enough of these people making false promises, empty claims that they're going to do something and make the situation better. But every time they do something to react to their problems that they're causing, they just make matters worse. Every good crisis doesn't go to waste when these people are in charge. All these elected officials that we have today, I think they all got put into place by the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse of representatives. They got their bunkers, they got what they need. They just leave everybody else out in the cold, literally. Ted Cruz taking vacations down to Cancun during a time like this, and he would have made it if people didn't say anything. He wouldn't give it a second thought. His conscience, it doesn't operate like normal people's. He doesn't care about us. None of these people in charge of the states care about you, okay? They care about themselves. They care about their own interests. They care about taking more away from you and more for themselves. That's what they care about. And that's what you've seen with the laws that they've written up that have never come off the books. You see more laws getting piled onto the books than taken off. I actually, as a matter of fact, I haven't seen any laws that these people put on the books come off. Isn't that strange? I mean, if you really are upholding the Constitution, there has to be some sort of line drawn in the sand here when it comes to making up all these new laws that they come up with. They say it's for our own good, it's to keep up with the times, but that's a crock, because let's face it, civilization didn't need taxes when we first started out. So why do we need them now? Okay, that's a question I'd like for you guys to ask yourselves today. If we didn't start out with taxation, why are we at that point now? So that way these people, these rich, elected, self-important can continue to come up with new rules and regulations for you to follow and for them to break. And that's exactly what you've seen. These people are going to do whatever the hell they want and not worry about any of the consequences because they think that they're untouchable. If we stop putting up with this as a collective, if people wake up on a global scale and start seeing what's really going on here, people are going to be very upset, and they're going to take these people and they're going to hang them in public because they deserve it. We don't deserve, as a people of a nation, to be treated this way, especially when we've done so much to put these people into positions of power because we've trusted them, okay? This whole system is built on trust. That trust has been broken. It was broken a long time ago, and it doesn't mean diddly today. They've taken advantage of us for far too long. Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, the great state of Texas, well, they still have their laws intact, thankfully for that. Their governor doesn't seem to have his head on straight. Governor Greg Abbott, a day late and a dollar short to the crisis. So thank you for that. Meanwhile, nuclear reactors aren't working, so people are losing power. Power prices are going through the roof. Energy costs are going through the roof. And what are they doing about it? Putting out press releases saying, oh, we have a crisis. We need to do something. Wow, great way to get ahead of it. Well, congratulations. You guys are top of your game as far as, doing something about it. As long as you look good on the media, as long as you put that press release out there to the public to make everybody calm, that's all that matters. Don't worry about what the real crisis here is, that you people are incompetent. You are not leaders. The way that people come out of these catastrophes, this crisis, is by pulling together and working together, not putting out press releases to tell people to remain calm and to just stay in your house and do what you're told. We've already gotten past that point. I think people are starting to wake up to the sad reality that is their life today, where they're freezing. They have an extra bill that they have to take care of that they don't have money for, that these people that supposedly care so much about us are just throwing stimulus checks left and right and thinking that that's going to just fix the problem. Was Texas prepared for this? These elected officials, these people in charge of a state, okay, are they ahead of this? Did they know how to prepare for a crisis? Or are they just a day late and a dollar short to the party when it comes to doing something about it? Getting down to the sad, hard truth here, the fact of the matter is that one day we might not all have power here in the United States, or in the rest of the world for that matter, because we have a global economic collapse taking place. And people are talking about opportunities. What opportunities are you going to have when money, or not money, I'm sorry for saying that because there's a big difference here between money and currency, and I'll get into that in a second. What good is currency when it's worthless? We're going into a global economic collapse, and we have millions of people without power down here in Texas, and many other states for that matter. We have Texas, which is an energy independent state supposedly, and now, guess what? That doesn't seem to be so true after all, does it? Meanwhile, we have all these power outages. They've played the frog in boiling hot water game with us for quite a long time, and it's starting to get out of hand at this point. Enough is enough. Taxation is theft. This country is about freedom, okay? I don't feel free having to pay property taxes on a property that I paid off every single year. I don't think that's right. I really don't. I'm sorry, my common sense is taking over here. I know the laws don't agree with that, but my common sense is just overwhelming. These people have taken enough from everybody. What these elected, rich, self-important idiots need to do is get up off their ass and get a real job. Start being a contributing member to society as opposed to a cancer that just leeches off of everybody else, takes people's time, energy, and freedom away from them through the form of taxation and inflation and their own monopolized currency system, which is the US dollar. I think we should all go back to gold and silver. What I mean by currency versus money is this. We have millions without power here in Texas. We have the mainstream media promoting Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. Oh, it's the next biggest thing. Oh, regulators are, calling it a disruptive technology. The only thing it's going to disrupt is more of your freedom. That's what's going to happen. If you're without power and you have cryptocurrency, how are you going to transact? How are you going to transact if you don't have power? Like millions of the people down here in Texas. What is money in a situation like this? Is it gold and silver, something that you can physically hold in your hand, or something that is in the digital realm that you never hold in your hand? You might have private keys in your head, but what good is that going to do you if nobody has power to use any device to transact with? It's like, common sense escapes these people. That's why money is a very definitive when it comes to gold and silver. When you talk about currency, that could be anything. That could be Pokemon cards for all we know. It is to the children that go to school. They trade those little Pog things. So back in the day when I was a kid, they traded those Pogs at school. They traded Pokemon cards. And that's a currency. You know, that can be printed. They can make more of them. It's not in limited supply. It's not scarce. It's not permanent. Okay, and I think that's the most important thing about money, is it needs to be permanent. Bitcoin is a new technology. It hasn't been here for 6,000 years like gold and silver has. I mean, let's face it, gold and silver are only formed when a star explodes, okay? That's what makes it so very precious to people, to humanity. Ever since the ancient Egyptians until this point, it's been considered money. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So I think these crypto enthusiasts really need to get their heads on straight and start really thinking critically about the situation that we're facing here today. Because if we're without power, we're without energy, you're not going to be using any cryptocurrency to do anything for that matter. I wouldn't even be here making videos if I didn't have energy. So this could go out at any moment, okay, without any warning. If you want to take that risk of being wiped out tomorrow, of losing everything that you worked so hard for, your freedom, your time, and your energy, into something digital, then you go right ahead. But I'm giving you fair warning right now that it's dangerous. You're taking a risk. And it's going to be on you. If you watch this video and you decide to do it anyway, you better be prepared to lose what you put into it. That's all I have to say. This is Felonious Bitcoin here. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning into my channel. And if you can, please, if you have the ability to get out there and do something positive today, go help somebody if you see them on the side of the road struggling to get to where they're going, or under an underpass, you know, living in a cardboard box, anything. Bring them a hot soup or a meal. Bring them to where they need to go. And this is what humanity is about. We need to start working together. Like I said in my previous video, we need to be more like ant colonies. We need to be more like animals in nature. We need to start looking out for one another and working together. I think we have the mental capacity to do that, and we've been brainwashed for such a long time to not do that. We're going against our own animalistic instincts to work together, okay? The ancient Egyptians had the right idea, and I think that's been ruined over a process of a long period of time. I think we need to get back to our true intentions, which is to work together to come up with solutions to problems, as opposed to continue to compound problems into even worse matters than they already are. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will talk to you all very soon. Take care.